Hi friends, I'm Amy and this is A-Star Reads, and it's time for my HRCYED October update. So this is for the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, which is a big challenge, a year-long challenge created by Stephanie over at QWERTY. And what makes this challenge really unique is that we have many prompts that we have to complete, and they're combined in different kinds of challenges that will sort of like expand your reading taste, expand your I enjoyed doing it the first year and I didn't succeed, but I enjoyed it so much and I enjoyed using this as prompts for planning out my year that I decided I was going to do 2.0, HRCYED 2.0, and this time I'm really hoping I'm going to complete it. So I was really thinking that one way I might be more successful in 2.0 versus 1.0 is that I'm going to do an update every single month. This keeps me on track, shows me where I've come from, shows me where I need to go, and will help me, I think, focus my reading enough that I'm actually completing prompts every single month and hopefully getting all of them done. So if you haven't seen any of my previous updates, I will link a playlist up here so you can go check them out. I do them at the beginning of every single month to talk about the books that I read in the prior month. So hopefully that all makes sense. And without further ado, let's take a look at the spreadsheet that QWERTY created and see how I'm doing and see how I did in the month of September. Okay, so here is the bingo board. And so far, the ones that are highlighted in green, I've completed. So I've completed the 24-hour readathon and the disability rep challenge. I have all these other ones to finish. So I have been making progress on many of these, but I haven't completed any other ones at this point. So let's go through every single, we're gonna go first with seeing what I read in this past month, or since the last time I updated this, and then I'll go through each one and we'll kind of like see where I'm at. The last book I updated on my spreadsheet was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. So the next one I finished, I completed Carl's Doomsday Scenario by Matt Dinneman, which was the Dungeon Crawler Carl #2 book. So for this one, trying to remember what I used this one for. I think I used it for my readathon challenge. I did. So for the readathon challenge, the goal was to complete all the prompts for one readathon. And I participated in Camp Seasonathon in the month of June. I didn't get a chance to finish all the prompts that month, but you can still continue to finish the prompts off over the subsequent months so that you can get the whole readathon completed. So for this one, Carl's Doomsday Scenario, I used for the music prompt, which was to listen to an audiobook. And so I did that. So I can click that one right there and I can unhighlight this. It just reminds me, the yellow reminds me of what I completed. And then did I do anything else for Carl's Doomsday Scenario? I feel like there was only one that I used that for, but let's double check. Oh, no, I did. Animals. That's right. Okay, perfect, because the Animal Friends one is to highlight when there are friends within books that are animal characters or like side characters that are important to the story. So for this one, I used it for house pets because if you've read any of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, one of the main characters is Princess Donut, which is Carl's ex-girlfriend's cat, becomes his cat, but she's a very, very important character and she is perfect for this Animal Friends prompt. So I'm gonna put that Carl's, and then I can delete it right there. I already filled it out as cat so that the house pet is cat. Now, one thing that people were telling me about for the Red Pony by John Steinbeck, because I already read this last month, but I only used it for one prompt because I couldn't think of another one to use it for. Everybody was saying that I should use this one for the farm animals prompt. The only reason I was a little concerned about using the Red Pony for the farm animals is because you think of it as like animal friends, like main characters within the stories. And the pony in Red Pony is only one little part of the story. It's not a huge part, but it is a big focus of the section that it's in. And we do talk about a lot of farm animals in this book. So like there's different sections where there's another horse that's an important part of that section. There are many parts of the story where we're talking about these farm dogs that are like our little boy character's friends, but also foes in some ways. He treats them badly at times. And there are definitely other farm animals that are discussed quite a bit in this. And because this is a pastoral story set on a farm and the farm animals make a big part of the story, I am going to count it. I was just a little concerned when people were giving it a suggestion. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea, but does it actually fit the mark? Because these aren't characters that talk. They're not the main characters of the story, but I think that it does work considering that this whole story is focused on a farm and the animals having to do with the farm. So thank you to those who told me I should use this for the farm animals prompt. I know that I'll get to a point where there will be books that I'll be reading that won't count for more than one prompt because, you know, the challenges will start getting more and more obscure. But at least if I can count each book for 2 prompts as much as possible, I definitely want to do that. So I think we completed Carl's Doomsday Scenario. It worked out for Animal Friends for the cat, and it worked out for the Readathon Challenge for the audiobook. Next, we had In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. So I read this for another readathon, actually for another seasonathon, but I'm not using that for my readathon prompt. What did I use this one for? Oh no, I did. So this one works for archery, weapon on the cover, and because on the cover of this, there is a pair of scissors, and if you've read the story, you'll know that that's the weapon. So I'm using that for weapon on the cover. And so I will unhighlight that. I click the little check mark. It works for that. I know it worked for something else. I'm pretty sure I figured out something else that it works for. What did I, was it this one? Yes. For Read Through a Beloved Quote, my goal in September was to try to fulfill as many of these prompts as I possibly could. I didn't get as much done in September as I wanted to. It was just a month where I did read a lot, but I read a lot of long books, so I didn't get a lot actually completed. But I did read In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife, and I'm using that for I because I actually have something else for in that I'm going to use. So I will be using this in my dreams. And basically the way this one works is that I picked a quote that I really liked. This is an Anne Frank quote. And then I have to use every single word in the quote, and it has to have that word in the title of another story. So like of, the importance of being earnest, everything is okay. In my dreams, I hold a knife. So that's how it works. And I can take these 2 away because I don't have to fulfill I anymore. I don't need to fulfill in either, so I can take this one. You don't know that yet, but I'll show you in a bit. For In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife, it worked for my readathon challenge for the prompt of archery, weapon on the cover, and it also worked for Make a Quote, because it has the word I in it. That works for that. Okay, then I read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. And for this one, what did I use it for?
Last 10 years? Yeah. Did I use it for Around the World? I think I did use it for Around the World, didn't I? Nope, that's a different one. Okay, let's go. Let me see. By the hundreds? No. 25 jobs? No. Subgenres of choice.
Oh, I did use it for subgenres of choice. Okay, so Divine Rivals I would consider a romantic fantasy. Is it a romantasy? I don't know about that so much. It's definitely got historical elements, but I wouldn't consider it a genuine historical fantasy because it's not set in our time, in our world. But I would consider the romance to be a very important part of this fantasy, so I'm going to put it under romance fantasy. And I think it works really well for that. Oops, I don't know how to spell divine. And then what else did I use it for? A series staircase? No. It was not, no. Oh, okay, that's what I used it for. I used it for the award season prompt because in the year of 2023, on Goodreads Choice Awards, this was the YA Fantasy winner. And you know what? I really enjoyed this. Do I think it should have won that YA Fantasy Award? Yeah, I think I could see young adults really liking this book enough that it could have won that. If you think about the audience. And I mean, I really enjoyed it. I had such a fun time with this. I'm just going to write that here. 2023. Yeah, I'm going to put that there because I like it. That's why. Okay, so it worked for award season for a winner, and it also worked for subgenres of choice. Come back here. Subgenres of choice for romance, romantic fantasy. And I'm getting close to having that one done. I've got 2 more to fulfill, and I already have books started for both of those. So like that will happen, will definitely happen. This one's gonna get done soon, just not in this video. Next, we had The God of the Woods. I completed The God of the Woods by Liz Moore, and this one, as you may have already seen, award season, it was also a Goodreads Choice Awards winner. In 2024, for the mystery thriller category, The God of the Woods by Liz Moore won. So it's another winner. It's a winner! I really enjoyed this. I'm actually having a book club discussion about it tonight with some of my ex-coworkers, and I'm really excited to talk to them about this and kind of solidify my thoughts on it, because I had some thoughts, good thoughts, but also like some, I'm not sure about certain things, thoughts. Goodreads. Okay. So I can clear these up. I also used this one as my first, I think my first submission for Become the Avatar, because this one, you're supposed to either decide if you want to do cover image or working title. I decided I want to do cover image for this particular challenge because I already have quite a few others where we're looking at the words in the titles. So for me, when I fulfill this challenge, I think I'm just going to look at cover images altogether. And so this one I thought worked really well for the earth element, because if you look at the God of the Woods cover, there's so many aspects of this that are earthy that, you know, remind me, it's woodsy. So like that's very much earth to me. And this actually technically works for both cover image and word in the title, because you got woods in the title, which is a very earthy thing. So I can delete this now that it's no longer a potential, it's an actual. So God of the Woods worked for Earth in the Become the Avatar, and it also worked for the award season. It was a winner from Goodreads Choice Awards. So that's that. Next, Fool's Errand. This was a reread. So the only thing that it actually can work for, because you're not supposed to use any rereads for this challenge in general, is just to help me, because my Challenge Yourself challenge is to read the rest of the Realm of the Elderling series, and I wanted to go into this having reread Fool's Errand, because if I'm going to be focusing on all these stories, I want to make sure my brain is fresh and ready for all the stuff that's to come. I remembered what happened in Fool's Errand generally, but it really helped to go back and to reread it so that I was like prepared for Golden Fool. So this one, I don't think it matters for this, because like as long as I get all these other books done, then that really is what matters for this challenge. But I'm just using it to keep me on track for where I'm at with the Realm of the Elderling series by Robin Hobb. Fool's Errand by Robin Hobb. I know I formatted all these. It's so annoying that they're not formatting anymore. I did. I swear I went and formatted all these. Okay, so that we can delete. Then I read You Belong Here as my July new release. So it works for that. Let's see. New releases right here. You Belong Here by Megan Miranda. I had to get it done technically by September 26th. However, because of one of the HRCYED secret prompts, I ended up getting the opportunity to extend the amount of time I had to complete my new releases. So I just finished this a couple days ago. And it works for the month of July. You Belong Megan Miranda. Oh, and just so you know, the green is to indicate to me if I've actually submitted to the website that Stephanie has set up, because she set up a website where you can submit all your entries for HRCYED, and it helps her keep track of like stats and stuff like that. So when I have actually submitted it, I highlight it in green. So I leave it white like this until I actually submit it. And I don't submit it on these videos because that's just time consuming and not as important to see, I don't think. You Belong Here was just released this year, so I decided to use it so I could use it for 2 prompts for my 2025 prompt. And so You Belong Here by Megan Miranda. So this book, You Belong Here, worked for my last 10 years for the year 2025, and it was also the new release for July. Finally, we got the Secret Book Society, which was my August new release. So we can go back to new releases. This was my August new release, The Secret Book Society by Madeline Martin. It needed to be done like the end of October, and I completed it well before then. So I'm glad that I'm actually on top of this one, because I was really behind on my July new release. I was in trouble for that. Not doing so well with that. So I am trying to remember what I used it for, the other thing that I used it for. I used it for Around the World because it was set in London. There are other books that I'll probably read that will work better for this or be more unique, but like I said, I'm trying to make sure that every single book works for 2 prompts as I read them. So I'm going to be using up as many of these easier spots as I can to fulfill all the books that will work for multiple things. Okay. All right. Okay, so the Secret Book Society worked for the 2 prompts, the Around the World set in Europe, and also my new release that was released in August. Now, that's it for my books that I've completed, or that I completed in September, or just up until today, and that I can use for my different prompts. So let's go ahead and do a recap of where I'm at with all of these and see if I can check any more boxes that allow me to finish a challenge completely. So again, this is my bingo board. I want to get all of these green at some point. So first, let's look at by the hundreds. I've got just one on here because I think that by the hundreds is one of those, if I am struggling to find a second prompt that my book fits, most likely I'll be able to use this, but I'd like to save it till later on when I'm having a harder time fulfilling prompts. Then we've got my 24-hour readathon, which I completed. That is done. Subgenres of choice. I'm so close to this one being done. I'm halfway through The Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. I'm a quarter through Golden Fool, so I would hope that by next month I'll be able to complete this particular one, and I'll get a green score for that, I hope. I'm doing my spinner wheel to help me pick what books I read this month, so it just depends on if I end up getting to read The Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. I might just make it work because I really have been enjoying that book so far. Series Staircase, I haven't picked up any of these, but I will be picking up Just for the Summer in November because that's the Bookstar Read Along's November book. So that one, trilogy, will get done in November. When I'll pick up this Hook, Line, and Sinker or any of these cozy mystery books, I'm not sure yet. But, you know, I'm still working on this one. Then we have award season, and I actually made progress on this one. I fulfilled 2 of the winners so far, so that feels really good. Then we've got TBR Game Challenge. During my TBRs each month, I spin, except for this month because it was spooky season, I decided to just do the spooky prompts. Each month I try to spin one of these challenges and focus that month on that challenge. So I'm definitely not going to worry about this one until that happens. Then we've got the last 10 years, and I added You Belong Here. I still have quite a few, and I don't yet know if I'm going to go 2015 to 2025 or 2016 to 2026. It'll just depend on if I end up reading a book from 2015 that I have to read here, and then I won't count whatever 2026 books I read next year. We'll just see. I'm gonna not worry about that until it actually happens. But I added one. I got to fulfill one of these. For adaptations, I haven't done anything here except that I did watch the movie The Importance of Being Earnest with Colin Firth and Rupert Everett, and I had a lot of fun watching that. It doesn't make any difference for my adaptations, but I was really excited to watch that. For Disability Challenge, this one's completed. I don't have to worry about this one anymore. Heritage Month, I got that one completed really early on in September, so I don't have to worry about that. In November, I'm hoping to read The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley, but that's something I'll worry about next month. Translation Challenge, I'm hoping to read one of these, either of these 2 books. They're both written by the same author, so they're both translated from Polish. Around the World, I added 1. I was able to complete 1 of these, then it means I only have 3 left. The Even Bigger Rainbow Challenge, this is having to do with the color of the covers of the books. I didn't add anything to this. I feel like this is another easy one where I can use this later on when I'm having a hard time getting 2, prompts for a book. Make a Quote. I didn't do nearly as much of this as I needed to last month, but I am currently reading this book, which will then fulfill the In. So that'll mean 4 of these are completed. That still leaves me with a whole bunch left, but I do have books that I want to read for these. And then there are some words like spite or believe that I haven't set what I'm going to read for those. I'm just kind of going to wait and see what ends up happening or wait until, it works out better. Then we have Spooky Creatures, and this is the prompt I'm working in the month of October. So there's not much I can show you yet because I'm currently reading books for this. But I can already tell you that I have started this book, Play Nice by Rachel Harrison, and that will work for the other creature. I have plenty of options, possibilities for each of these categories. And if you want to know what some of those options are, some of the books I'm thinking about reading for them, go ahead and check out my TBR video for the month of October because I talk about what I own that should hopefully work for each of these categories. And hopefully I'll get quite a few of these read and completed in the month of October. You'll have to come back in November and find out. Then for Become the Avatar, I did actually complete one of these, 1 out of 8, and that is God of the Woods by Liz Moore for Earth. The Readathon Challenge. So here is where I should be able to get a green square. So the only thing I had left that I hadn't completed, and I kept putting it off just because it's one thing that I just didn't get a chance to do yet, was watching the author live show. And in order to complete this readathon, one of the prompts was Fire Pit, and that's to go to the live shows. I was really interested in watching the author live show because I did read the group book. So it was fun to see all of Jenna's comments and the things she said about this book. I really enjoyed watching the live show. So I did complete that, and I even commented, you know, it's after the fact, but I even commented on the video a couple times. So I feel quite confident in saying that I completed this prompt, and I can click that. And that means that all of these prompts for this readathon from Camp Season-a-thon in June have finally been completed. And I can click, I did it! So let's go back and see if my little square lights up or if I have to play around with this and fix it again. Nope, it's green! Complete any readathon! So I'm not even close to getting like a bingo straight up and down or cross or anything, but I've got 3 of these squares filled in. So that feels good because it shows me like an actual visual representation of the progress that I'm making, even though I've almost completed everything for this challenge and you can't tell by looking at this, but I've got 3 completed, and hopefully next month I'll be able to have 4. Then for animals, I was able to fulfill 2 of these. I've got a cat from Carl's Doomsday Scenario, and then I've got Red Pony, which has horses and farm dogs and different kind of farm animals for the Red Pony. Then for Queer Alphabet, I haven't completed anything for this recently, read anything for this recently. For my favorite HRCYED #1 prompt, I haven't started working on this yet. Then for BIPOC Challenge, I haven't added any books to this at this point, not right now. And new releases, I did complete 2 of my new releases, thank goodness. And I can tell you that I'm working on my September release because, like I said, I started Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. So thank goodness. Hopefully I won't get behind the way I did before. But that does mean we get to decide what my October release is, or some of the October possibilities that I might be interested in. So let's go ahead and look at the different books that are coming out in October, and maybe I'll find something that I really want to read. Okay, so first I like to go through and see if I have anything that I've already clicked as want to read, to see if there's already something that's coming out in October that in the past I was like, oh yeah, I really want to read that.
And that makes it a little easier for just kind of go through and that must be a new version, a new edition. Come on, let there be something.
Oh, there is something. This one, who talked about this? Somebody talked about this recently and it sounded, oh, because of a prompt, the secret prompt in the month of September. Crafting for Sinners, a queer woman must fight her way out of a big box craft store run by a diabolical religious cult in this gripping survival horror novel by Jenny Kiefer. This sounds really fun. The ratcheting tension and gut churning. Oh, I know why this one came up. The secret prompt for September was that you could either complete a craft while listening to an audiobook or read a book that has crafts that they're actually doing in the book on the cover. And this one has, is it latch? No, it looks like weaving or something like that. This looks like a really fun cover and it sounds really fun. So I'm definitely curious about this and I'm gonna put it on my list as a possibility. Crafting for Sinners by Jenny Kiefer. That is for the month of October. Let's see if there's anything else I'm interested in or might be interested in. Must be it. Snow-Kissed. Oh, this is for Christmas, for Advent Calendar. I think this is one I was thinking about for Advent Calendar. I'm not sure if I want to read that. I'm not gonna. Okay, well, let's go back up to the top and see if there's anything coming out that I just didn't realize was coming out and I'm really interested. So The Intruder by Frida McFadden. Don't know that I'm interested in that. Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. What is this? It starts with a class in an old movie theater. Folklore 517, local legends and urban myths taught by a woman called the professor. Oh, this one's about like a person who can tell you when you're gonna die. And this woman is told that she's gonna die tomorrow at midnight. I'm gonna put that down because that one actually sounds like it's a lot of fun. How long is it? 336 pages? It's a standalone. That's kind of nice. I wouldn't have to start. It'd be like a fantasy, romantasy, but I wouldn't have to start a new series. I like that. Let me write that one down. Alchemy. I've never read anything by Stephanie Barber either, so that might be kind of fun. Not Barber, Garber, Stephanie Garber. This is also in October. Gone Before Goodbye. I haven't read anything by Harlan Coben. Don't know if I'm ready to start now. That's the second in the series, The Widow by John Grisham. This one's kind of a creepy looking cover. That's cool. Horror, fantasy, gothic. I do like gothic. This one is queer, LGBTQ, so it's YA. Do I want to read a YA? The Good Spirits? What's that? That looks like a Christmas one. I do like Christmassy books, but I don't think I want to add Christmassy books as my, yeah, I don't want to add those. I want to add these to like my advent calendar challenge. Got a new one by Alex E. Harrow. I still haven't read anything, I think. No, I have. I've read her short stories. This is a lady knight and a not so heroic historian will fight through time and space to rewrite their tragic fates. That sounds cute and fun. That sounds fun. There's just too many possibilities. Girl dinner, dating after the end of the world, the Hearth Witch's Guide to Magic and Murder. That sounds fun. Oh, this is a cozy fantasy / mystery. That sounds like a lot of fun. When a rise in London's supernatural crime puts Fae society at risk of discovery, the Winter Council turns to an unlikely solution. Avery Hemlock, the changeling they sentenced to 500 years of nightmares. She lacks social grace. She must find a way to acclimate and solve the case or lose her probationary freedom. That sounds cute. Maybe I'll put that on here too. There's too many options. That's not good. After this, I won't look anymore because then I'll have too many options. The Hearth Witch's Guide to Magic and Murder. Okay, so my possibilities for October, I may pick up one of these for my October new release, bless you, is going to be Crafting for Sinners by Jenny Kiefer, Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber, or The Hearth Witch Guide to Magic and Murder by, I didn't write this one down, who's it by? Kiri Callahan. So those are my possibilities. I'm not going to look at any other ones right now. I'm just going to use those three. Those are my possibilities for my October new release. Challenge Yourself. I completed this one, the first one for Challenge Yourself for the Realm of the Elderlings, and I'm currently working on Golden Fool. So I am making progress on this. The goal is to read one of these books every single month until this challenge, the HRCYED 2.0, is completed. I have to read one a month. Way to challenge yourself, Amy. Nonfiction challenge. I still haven't finished these 2 nonfiction books. And Q's reviews. I haven't watched these videos yet. Let's see, a mini review, full reading vlog, YouTube short, TikTok, or Instagram reel, because I'm going to wait until this comes up on my spinner wheel, my HRCYED spinner wheel. So that's it. That's where I'm at. At the end of September, I have completed 3 of these challenges fully. I'm close to finishing another one, and I'm excited to make progress on the Spooky Creatures one this month. So hopefully I'll finish a lot of those, and we'll see. So come back at the beginning of November for my November update, which will tell all about what I actually completed in the month of October. Let me know in the comment section down below what kind of progress you're making with HRCYED. I know a lot of us are like really into it right now, so I'd like to hear if you're having some successes. I feel really good. I feel really good about my progress. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe so you can see what happens in the month of October. Hopefully I read a whole bunch of spooky books with spooky creatures. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.